You know, this was one that I'm going to remember a long time from now on Sportswire Radio because, yes, we are still technically in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform, and most certainly all music and wrestling matters. Now, we were supposed to have on the EBW IR champion and the EBW world champion, the infamous Montana, but sometimes, well, nature calls, technical difficulties happen, and we've got on somebody that's going to, well, not quite be able to talk about the way that the infamous Montana would, but a man that is going to promote what's ahead for a gold horizon and get us ready for tomorrow's huge show and talk about a number of different things. And a man that is the definition of legendary. A man, when I think about Iron and Crimson, and a man that is going to certainly save the day here. He's not quite yet Superman, but he's got Superman-like powers, and he's going to get us ready. In certainly less than 28 years, the movie that everybody is talking about what is ahead. We're going to talk about some familiar faces that have been on this platform before. We're going to talk about some familiar names I've mentioned in other places and maybe some legends and who knows whatever else. But I know I've only got a little bit of time, but I am most certainly going to give you still, sir, that introduction because we are, after all, in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, and this is quite a way, I guess, to make a debut on Sportswire Radio, but things do happen. But in the words of Def Leppard frontman Joe Elliott, let's get rocked, baby, because there's somebody in my chat that wants this. He wants it. And, well, we got to get ready for the Gold Horizon tomorrow night in Gloucester, New Jersey on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one, Gable Sports Show, a man that is certainly done it all in the world of EBW Pro and beyond. His name is simply put, Iron My friend, how are we doing?
Mr. Tom Rice, what an introduction. What an introduction.
Yeah, I was waiting to do that for about an hour, but I was late originally for the infamous Monty. I was supposed to do this at 9:45, but as I was telling you, it's election season here in New York City, and I was stuck in a 16-flight apartment building a little longer than I would have liked, and by the time I got home, it was just about 9:50. I got ready, wetted my hair, did the big video, and I guess the infamous Montana, well, maybe he's got an autograph signing or a press conference to attend to, maybe elsewhere, and that's why maybe you're pinch hitting for him. But I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about regardless here tonight over the next little while to get us ready for a huge show coming up in Gloucester, New Jersey.
Well, it's an honor to definitely be here on your program for the first time and actually be able to say that you can welcome me, the one and only Iron Bull Argus, to Sportswire Radio with Mr. Tom Rice.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I know. Okay, I think Austin was here a couple weeks ago. I think we talked about EBW Pro for a minute. I think we were going to have Infamous for the first time, and just about 16 months, but I'm sure we'll get him on right after the show. But let's talk about it because I know you've only got X amount of time, and I still want to give you something to honor our company. And certainly shout out to everybody that has been patient. But for those that are listening and watching in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you and most certainly EBW Pro have certainly helped build, talk about what we can expect here coming up tomorrow night. Gold Horizon.
Well, tomorrow night, like you just said, Gold Horizon is officially happening in Gloucester City, New Jersey, and it's tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. It will all go down as we have a big action-packed show with 9 great matches and some indie veterans and icons, as well as some of the new up-and-coming superstars. As always, you had mentioned Austin James, hashtag Ego, Colin Graves, Roland Havoc, the infamous Montana, the current IR champion, and just so much more. It's already so explosive that, all week long we've been preparing for this. You might as well say I've been preparing for this for the last few months, but it all comes down to now. Here we are the day before, and anybody should know when it comes to a wrestling event, there's always going to be changes. There's always going to be last minute cancellations or surprises.
Yeah. Card subject to change. It's the biggest line.
Biggest line.
I've been doing this for such a long time now. It feels like longer than 6.5 years, 5 years covering wrestling, and that is the most common theme. But I could go in a lot of ways, but I want to talk about a women's team that I've talked a little bit about, at least one half of them, because I've seen her really become an up-and-comer in a number of different places. I've seen of her and Amplified Enterprise Wrestling. I've seen her in other places in West Virginia, and I'm talking about certainly Slammin' Sammy and Autumn Breeze. And let's talk about what we can expect coming up from them to start off tomorrow night.
Well, Autumn Breeze and Slammin' Sammy have definitely been let's just say they developed a friendship. Yep. And, nothing but respect for those two women, because the fact that Slammin' Sammy is so fresh and so new, that someone like Autumn, who is a veteran, who has been doing this for over 24 plus years, she's got all the credibility in her background, and she's won so many championships and so many federations. And, Autumn has taken the Sammy under her wing, and, she requested this. She said, I want to bring Slammin' Sammy to EBW Pro. I want her debut to be with me. I want this to be a tag team match. I think originally we had something set, but then now the question is, who? Who is going to step up and fight these two women? Men or women? Anyone can step up to fight those two.
Well, I think it's interesting because Autumn Breeze is, again, somebody that's been around, but Slammin' Sammy, like you said, I know her because a few months back she competed against Raina Black, who is certainly very, very accomplished. And she's also been a part of some other places that took place in Parkersburg, West Virginia, which we've talked about here in the past. So Slammin' Sammy's definitely making a name for herself. And this could be a great way for her to further make a name for herself alongside Autumn Breeze. And we really don't know who could take that challenge. And it could certainly be very fascinating to see who winds up ending up in wrestling these two.
Exactly. Sammy's getting a fan base very quickly, and, some of the fans that will be coming just to see her especially have said, they can't wait to see who is going to be brave enough to be in the ring with her and Autumn, considering that's a powerful team right there of two women that definitely have the skills.
Absolutely. And obviously Slammin' Sammy we've seen in WVWF, which has been one of our staples of late the last few weeks on Sportswire Radio, our beautiful friends in the West Virginia Wrestling Federation in the Richardson building. Iron Bull Argus, I've got 325 7th Street, Parkersburg, West Virginia, the Richardson building memorized almost like my home addresses. Certainly that's kind of been the running joke on Sportswire. And now Slammin' Sammy's going to have a new home for a new address here, which we're very, very excited about here, which is going to be 827 Jersey Avenue. And I keep saying it as a Gloucester, New Jersey, but it's you said it the right way, because I think Rad Dad said it once that way, and I went with what Rad Dad had to say. But we'll put the poster up for there in a minute. But, I got to ask you about somebody else that has long been a name on this platform that I noticed that is debuting here in EBW Pro. And I'm really curious what you think about this. And one guy that has certainly made a name for himself in different places, and places like TF Crew, GTS, and obviously now your company, and that is the Puerto Rican Prince, Angel Santiago. The TF Crew YouTube champion makes his debut here coming up tomorrow night. And what do you expect from this?
Well, I will say this, I don't know much about Angel Santiago, but I've definitely been able to, review some of his matches and watch some of his work. And I will say he's definitely talented and he seems like he's a really good up and comer. Um, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does tomorrow as well, because, making his debut match, it's definitely got to be something exciting. So I'm sure whoever he's in there with tomorrow, he's going to show exactly, why, like you just said, why he is the new up and coming starter, as well as making a name for himself in all these other places. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what Mr. Santiago is going to bring to EBW Pro.
Absolutely, no question about that. He has been embroiled in a feud for months, which is played out on this platform, which a man that has been in your company before, Rad Dad Radley Belmont, who just won the NPH Grand Pro Championship, defeating the one and only Darius Carter to do that. Quite an amazing accomplishment. And Angel Santiago has also defeated the likes of Mikey Anarchy, and Mikey Anarchy is a very, very established wrestler in the hardcore deathmatch world. And Angel has definitely made his way around places like Connecticut, certainly Pro Wrestling Venom as well, and also in his home state of Florida. So interesting to see what he does. The TF Crew YouTube champion, Angel Santiago, the Puerto Rican Prince, makes his debut in EBW Pro. Very excited about that. And I got to talk to you about, always on this platform for the past 2 years, it is a common staple to talk ego. Austin James was here a couple weeks ago. Austin James, speaking of people that was in GTS, and ego is always a staple in EBW Pro. And we've got Jacob Cassidy back once again. Jackson Sabre is always lurking, and we've got a newcomer and Joey Angelo. So what can we expect here? Is Ego is in action against Jackson Sabre, the returning Jacob Cassidy, and Joey Angelo.
Well, you definitely got to say this. When it comes to hashtag ego, they are always up to something. And the leader of the group, of course, Austin James, finds a way to always make the ego all about them. They always have to have that win. They have to be at the top. And they are definitely not at all unfamiliar with the team of, well, first of all, Jacob Cassidy making his return. They know him very well because of
they
Chaos
definitely
Conspiracy.
know him well. Yeah, 100%.
And Jackson Sabre, who also used to be with Violence Unhinged, who now is kind of on his own.
And we
they know
last
him.
year the issues that the back and forth that him and Montana had, and certainly some doubting in different things with Fatale and I mean that Jackson Sabre's got his own star-crossed history with ego.
And what makes it really interesting is that they're now having a partner who they've known and they've watched and been a fan of GTS. Well, I mean, obviously LTW and other places in Jersey. Joey Angelo, Big Papa Parm, and that's going to be interesting.
I mentioned him, another GTS guy. Yep, absolutely, definitely a guy that has made his way in different places, but EBW Pro he comes to.
Oh yeah, we've been trying to get Joey Angelo for at least in the last year, and I know every time he's tried to come to EBW Pro, there was always just something, unfortunately things happen, blown out tire or an emergency, and therefore it's kind of like now this hopefully is the time that Joey Angelo will be here and shine, and he gets to tag with none other than Jacob Cassidy and Jackson Sabre.
Yeah, and it's so fascinating because Jacob Cassidy has been a guy that always gets talked about on here. Jackson Sabre has definitely had some memorable feuds in other places. I think about his little feud with Mr. Judgment last year. Obviously, his own history with Violence Unhinged. And again, now you bring Joey Angelo to the table, a man that, again, has also been in there with names I've mentioned, like Mikey Anarchy. He has been in a lot of different places. I mentioned Mat Pro Wrestling. He was there last week. I think about places that we always talk about here. UWC has got a lot of history, a lot of different places that we talk about. And ego is ego, and I expect nothing more than another banger.
Exactly. I mean, last time we had EBW, which was in December of last year, we had Holiday Massacre, and the Ego were feuding with Yaya Gremlin at that time,
Yes,
and AJ got that win over there.
Yeah, the Wrestling with Recovery show, if I'm not mistaken, right around there.
Well, actually, our last EBW Pro show as well, it was Yaya Gremlin and Austin James 101, and Austin James, kind of had to use Roland Havoc to bring in the steel chair and kind of get a little bit of the assistance, but he got the win over Yaya.
Yeah, I think I brought that up. Austin was here, I want to say in January, maybe right around January, February, and I think we brought up the match with Yaya. Yeah, he definitely came up. Yeah, Yaya is definitely an interesting guy, and he's got some history, but Ego looks to create new history and a big 6-man tag. And I mean, this could go either way, and it's Ego in action against a new up-and-coming group, and I hope to see more of Joey Angelo here in EBW Pro, and going to be another classic, and very excited about that. And I also wanted to talk about King Kalua being here. I mean, that's really cool, and that's going to be another exciting reason why we all need to be there at Gold Horizon tomorrow night.
Exactly. King Kalua, definitely. Indie legend. Anybody knows the name King Kalua. When you hear the music, when you hear that music hit Dancing Queen, you don't know what you're going to expect, because obviously he has all the different colored outfits. He's always ready to go. He always has something to say on the microphone. And I think when it comes to EBW Pro, since King Kalua has debuted, he has been always striving to be at the top and be the best. And I know that he's in the hunt to chase for that. He's been trying to go after that World Heavyweight Championship, but unfortunately, Roadblock has became the very first World Heavyweight Champion in EBW Pro is none other than Roadblock Chad McCoy. And as of right now, King Kalua, he's still trying to fight his way back up. And I think now is the time for him to issue an open challenge. And I think anybody can step up to who wants to face Kalua.
I think that's a really interesting question. A man with his resume, and you certainly want to prove yourself and prove that you are the very best. And another reason why that we're very excited about tomorrow's show at 827 Jersey Avenue, and certainly tickets are still available. If you want to go to the EBW Instagram page, Facebook page, we're putting up the Instagram page throughout the show. There's YouTube, a lot of great things to promote. We certainly want everybody to do that here. We are here. It was supposed to be the infamous Montana, but it's turned into the legendary Iron Bull Argus. Obviously, you think about him and Iron and Crimson, so many great things he's done in his amazing career, and he has been so kind to be with us here on Sportswire Radio. And if you are here right now, and I know we're getting ready for the show tomorrow, but you have to hit that sub button for EBW Pro. Go out there and watch EBW content. Go out there and just be a part of the movement. EBW Pro, one of the greatest companies that you can see out there at 827 Jersey Avenue. Hit that sub button for me. They just hit 400 subs. We're on that road to 500 subs. And Zilla says, hello, nice to meet you. Yeah, it was supposed to be the returning infamous Montana, but I guess things happen. And even DVG's like, oh my God, OMG, mic drop. Yeah, definitely mic drop.
Oh my God, hello there.
Yeah, this was not the show we were expecting, but listen, things happen. Ox McCoy was asking me for like 20 minutes, where am I? And I said, well, things happen. And certainly we did say hello to you.
Well, I gotta say something, because speaking of DVG, and we haven't mentioned his name yet. He is the number one announcer, if not one of the greatest up and coming announcers of all time right now.
Listen, this man works more than almost anybody in WWE, AEW. I mean, I remember last time I spoke with him, he worked like 20 shows in a month. I mean, these announcers that go out and do these things, they do it now the way it goes. They do it, four to 7 times a month. He does it 20 to 30 times a month. He is definitely the very best. I see him everywhere. He's wrestling also. I mean, this man, I don't even know how this man sleeps. This is definitely the hardest working man in show business. And Yeah, we love seeing him here. Thank you, Ox, for being a part of the show. And I want to say hello to the lovely Athena, who was
Hey, hey.
showing up, yes, looking for infamous Montana. But we'll definitely, I'm sure, bring him back on. And we appreciate just that Iron Bull Argus was so kind just to be here for a few minutes to talk about what is next here. But, obviously, we talked a little bit about Roadblock. And what do we expect from Roadblock here coming up tomorrow night?
Well, Roadblock definitely has been a fighting champion since he won the championship,
Absolutely.
and he deserves every amount of credit that you can get. I mean, he deserves the credit, and he deserves nothing but respect. That man has been wrestling for so long, and he's also a 3WA. He was a former 3WA World Heavyweight Champion. He's wrestled in multiple different
Yep.
groups, such as HCW and
Yeah.
GCW, and the list goes on. There's no doubt about it. When it comes to Roadblock, he definitely has a background, and he loves his business so much, and I think he is ready to take on all challengers. Anyone that wants to step up and come towards him and say, hey, I want that championship, I want a title shot, he's not afraid to say, you know what, I'm going to put it right on the line. If anybody wants to step in the ring with me, let's go.
That's a fighting champion. That is somebody that when we talk all the time on this platform, you want fighting champions. And there's no question that Roadblock has been that. And when you go out there against Roadblock, you are certainly getting plenty of roadblocks. And that's why he is our reigning EBW Pro champion. And, I do have to ask you about the infamous Montana because this was supposed to have been his spot. And if I don't ask about him and I know that he'll definitely be back here because we were really, really anticipating him on here. But I'm sure that we'll figure that out soon. But what can we expect from our EBW Pro IR champion? What can we expect from him tomorrow night? I'm sure he'll be there. I would hope he'll be there after this on Sportswire tonight. I would have to think, Iron Bull Argus, he's going to be there tomorrow night.
Well, I think Montana is just so hyped up right now, and he's so overwhelmed that he gets into training, he gets focused, and I know that I talked to him a little while earlier. I mean, obviously, we don't know what he's doing right now, but if anything, he could be working as hard as he always does when he steps in that ring. And one thing's for sure is he has been a phenomenal, if not a very good fighting IR champion, which anybody doesn't know what IR means. That is the International Regional Champion of EBW Pro. And right now, tomorrow, anybody that faces him, whoever he steps in the ring with, he puts the title on the line, and they better be ready for a fight because he brings it from the streets. He brings everything that he has in that ring 100%. And I know he's ready to throw down with anybody.
Yeah, no question. And I know that he had a lot to say tonight, and maybe he's saving that for 827 Jersey Avenue tomorrow night. And that's very well a possibility. I know he wanted to talk about Austin James. I know that he wanted to talk about Geronimo. I know he had plenty to say, but I have no doubt that he'll do that after tomorrow night. That might even make it more of a reason to see the infamous Montana return. And DVG makes a great point. You just never know what's going to happen. That is why you want to support pro wrestling companies like EBW Pro. And before I talk about our EBW Breakout Champion, I know you were a busy man, Iron Bull Argus, but I have got something special for EBW Pro tonight because I know we were supposed to have infamous Montana unveil this for us, but I've got something for you because I just love having EBW Pro coverage. And my last few months on Sportswire, I have been wondering when are we going to get more EBW Pro coverage? And obviously, Montana and I had spoke about that at length. I know Austin James, we touched upon it briefly, but now it is time to honor one of those companies we always think about here on Sportswire, one of those premier companies, because it is EBW Pro Day on all Sportswire radio platforms to get us ready for tomorrow night. And that's for you and that's for everybody in the locker room. And congratulations to our beloved EBW Pro and Iron Bull Argus. Thank you so much for all you've done for our sport. Thank you so much for what you've done for the wrestling community. Thank you to all the boys in the back, all the ladies in the back who have been a part of this. And this is yours. I'll make sure you get that physical copy when we're off the air. We do things differently here on Sportswire Radio. We're in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage. And we are certainly very appreciative of all that EBW has done for us here. And congratulations to you, sir, and everybody else out there in the locker room tomorrow night.
Definitely, what an honor. I can't thank you enough there, Mr. Tom Rice and Sportswire Radio, of course, for making this happen, because as many times as I've tuned in to Sportswire Radio, I have seen certificates and, appreciations to all these stars out there, all the wrestlers that are out there, and this is just an honor to be another member of the Sportswire Radio, whether it's the Hall of Fame or being appreciated. And this certificate of appreciation is definitely something that we
And we appreciate our wrestlers here on Sportswire. We appreciate our wrestling companies, and there are other podcasts out there, and they can do whatever they want. They're entitled to, but we do things a little differently here on Sportswire, and we are so thankful that Iron Bull Argus has spared a few minutes of his time to get us ready for tomorrow's huge show here. Before I talk about the main, I'm going to put that poster up here again because there is so much to get into. I know you're a very, very busy man, but also I'm excited to see here coming up our EBW Tag Team Champions. The Eastside Goonies are going to be in action. Rick Rose and Notorious X, and boy, certainly let's just say that Gold Horizons are on the way when those guys are going to be in action tomorrow night.
Well, I definitely want to say this. When it comes to the Eastside Goonies, they still owe me and DVG a rematch for those championships because they stole those titles from us. They didn't play fair.
Well, they better make sure they show up tomorrow night because.
And if anybody's not familiar with that, I'll just plug this in real quick. But with DVG was just here, or if he's still here, this is what happened last show. Apparently, everybody knows that Iron and Crimson have been the first ever EBW Tag Team Champions.
Yes, we do.
And we had beaten Chaos Conspiracy, Jacob Cassidy and Robert Pearson, to become those first-time champions. But unfortunately, James Crimson has kind of drifted. I don't know where he's went. It's kind of like he was here, and then the next minute he's gone. And I don't know if he just got so deranged that he's not going to come back. We don't know what's going on with Crimson right now. But DVG stepped up to the plate, and he said, you know what? You trained with me. You were my mentor. You're somebody I look up to. You need a partner. I'm going to stand in your corner with you, and I'm going to fight Nutrius X and Rick Rose. But we had to go through how many other teams? There was a tournament, and this tournament of 7 to 8 tag teams leading up to this main event, it was none other than myself, Iron Bull Argus, DVG, facing Rick Rose and Nutrius X, and they stole those tag team championships from us.
And I know that obviously is something that burns at you. I know that you want them back, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Exactly, because you know what? We're putting that challenge out there. I've already talked to DVG multiple times, and I said, you know what? If we have to run this back, I will tag with you one more time, and we will get those championships, and we'll win them fair and square. And this time, DVG can actually win the championship, be declared a champion, just like me, and therefore we can stand tall at the top of the Pro and show everybody why. Me and DVG, we just had that special magic. There's just something about us.
He's talked about that here. He's talked about what you guys have done together, and I know that obviously that day is going to come, and that day will come. It's like I said, not a matter of if, but when, and we're going to certainly see these guys in action, and again, everybody else. And if you are here right now on Instagram and you're going to watch this later on, go out and follow EBW Pro, because you're going to see more EBW Pro coverage here on Sportswire in the coming days. Obviously, we do know that Austin James will be back. We know that the infamous Montana will definitely be back after this. There's no question that the infamous Montana will be back, because I'm sure he's going to have, let's say, a lot of things on his horizon, and we've talked a lot about that here. We know that Iron Bull is a very busy man, but this is definitely the new era of professional wrestling, and so many of our friends are going to be there. We talk about Angel Santiago, a man that has been a staple on this platform with the legendary Rad Dad Bradley Belmont. He's obviously been someone we talk about almost all the time. Rad Dad was here a couple of weeks ago. Slam and Sammy, we always talk about, obviously, our friends in the WWF and obviously Enterprise, Amplified Wrestling. Ego's always talked about here on this platform. Jacob Cassidy, Jackson Sabre. Jackson Sabre, of course, was a trivia question. He was the first guest in 2024, and that's why you want to support EBW and everything that EBW does. But we've got a main event here tomorrow night. I am pumped about. for that EBW Breakout Championship. I am just really, really excited about this one, Iron Bull. You got to talk to me about this.
So you must be talking about the one and only JCM, Mr.
Yep.
El Manchero, the current
Mm-hmm.
EBW Breakout Champion, as he
Mm-hmm.
will be defending his championship against the former WWE superstar of the tag team known as the Dicks back in the
Yep.
SmackDown era of the 2000s.
Yep.
None other, he was known by as James Dick, but he now goes by the one and only Tank Tollin, who also was a part of Ring of Honor.
And
And
who also is somebody we talked about coming up for next weekend's DAWWG, so dog wrestling show. So he is a very busy man these days.
And I will say this, I had talked to Tank Tollin. I was able to reach out to him not too long ago, and he told me, he said, I want people to see that I still have it, that I still can get in the ring and I can still go just like I did back in the day. He says, I still have a lot left in the tank and I'm not going to stop. And I'm going to prove to everyone just how great I still am. And he said to me, that's why I'm coming to EBW Pro and I will take on one of your newest champions, somebody who's been really breaking out, the one and only El Manchero.
So what do you expect? I mean, obviously, these two men are certainly accomplished. We know what Tank has done in the past. We know what he still has done. And JCM has been just an amazing champion. And what a main event here. And for our audience, especially those that might show up tomorrow night, I mean, what are you expecting here?
Well, I'm definitely expecting that he's going to take JCM to the limit. El Manchero is definitely a good fighting champion. He's not afraid to lay hands on anyone that steps in the ring with him, including the one and only Autumn Breeze, because I know they have a score to settle, and they've been feuding for quite a few months. And I know he's disrespected Autumn numerous times, and he just doesn't care. But now he has to step in the ring with someone bigger than Autumn Breeze, twice the size, more muscle, more power, and I think that he is going to wind up getting his mouth shut when he finds out just how tough Tank Tollin really is.
Oh, I tell you what, I mean, you have to wonder just how long then can JCM keep the EBW Breakout Championship? Because going through Tank Tollin, this is going to be a test. And, really, this is going to be quite a test. I mean, this is certainly not like anything else. And that's why we're very excited about the show. Also, again, tickets are just $20. I can't stress enough what a deal that is. I always talk Iron Bull on this platform over the years about, I go to the movies, I see this movie and that movie, and alone I spend more money on the ticket. That's not counting the food, the beverage. What if you want to buy something else with that? You're talking $50, $60. You want to go to a baseball game? Everybody wants to go to ball games this summer. You're spending as much as up to 10 times that per person. Want to go out to dinner? You're talking, me and my buddies went out to dinner Monday night, went out to a nice Jewish deli here in Brooklyn, and we spent about 10 times what you could spend to go watch a pro wrestling show. Some of the very best names. And so many of our friends on Sportswire Radio, like the infamous Montana. Yes, he's still our friend. Austin James, Colin Graves, Roland Havoc, Angel Santiago, a man that has certainly been no stranger to this platform over the years. Jackson Sabre, Jacob Cassidy, Joey Angelo. The man, everybody knows Joey Angelo. He hasn't been on here, but we've talked about him. And obviously, you think about names like Tank Tollin, JCM, Autumn Breeze, Slam and Sammy's always brought up here. I mean, you think about just everybody. King Kalu, a legend. And I got to bring him up before we sign off here, because I know you're a busy man getting ready for tomorrow's show, but we've got certainly the ECWA legend, the one and only chick magnet, Mozart Fontaine. Certainly, I know I ain't going to say holla if you hear me like Joey Angelo, because, or holla if you have a parm sandwich nearby, but certainly we are going to have quite a show tomorrow night, especially now that we've just gotten word, Iron Bull, that the one and only chick magnet, Mozart Fontaine, is going to be here tomorrow night.
Yeah, Mozart Fontaine, I definitely have a long history with that man, especially all, the other chick magnets, of course, Mike Tobin and
Yes.
Brian Sosha. The legendary chick magnets back in the days when I first started with the legendary company known as ECWA, East Coast
Yes.
Wrestling Association. That,
Yeah, we were talking
back in the
about
day
that
under the
with,
Jim Kettner brand
yep, go
was
ahead.
one of the greatest, times of my career starting out back in the that was back when I was known as Gus Grand, the press agent, the manager, but evolving into the Iron Bull Argus. It's just yes. When it comes to Mozart, he was somebody who I looked up to back in the day. I've trained with him. I worked with him in the ring. So definitely a legend in this business.
Oh, and to have him here, I mean, just unbelievable. Like you said, ECWA, we were talking about this with Rad Dad last week here on Sportswire Radio, and we were talking about this with a number of different people, that history, and to have him here. And it's an amazing mix of talent we've got tomorrow night. We've got up and comers, certainly Slam and Sammy. We think about certainly names like Jacob Cassidy, who've been around but are still up and comers, Jackson Sabre, Angel Santiago. And then we've got our household names like the legendary King Kalua. We've got Mozart Fontaine. Then we've got certainly Tang Talon, our current champion, JCM, Ego. I mean, listen, Ego have certainly always been household names. Infamous Montana as an IR champion. Obviously, the tag team champions we talked about. I mean, just so many unbelievable names. And I didn't even mention Roadblock, our champion. I mean, just an unbelievable mix of talent. And that's why I'm really excited to see what's ahead here tomorrow night. And if you are here on Instagram, EBW Pro, that's where you can find out more information. You want to go hit the sub button, EBW Pro Backspace Videos. Facebook is where you can connect and buy that ticket. Get ready. And again, we'll call, show up at the door. You can get that ticket. Door is going to be, again, 5:30. Couldn't ask for a better day, especially with the heat coming on this weekend. Especially if you want maybe go to dinner afterwards, catch a wrestling show, bell time 6 o'clock. And if you're listening under the age of 10, $5. I mean, listen, what a deal. If I was going to take them to a Yankee game, a Philly game, a Pirate game in the nearby area, you're going to be spending, again, 20, 30 times that price. So you definitely want to be there for Gold Horizon. And also, it is EBW Pro Day. It was supposed to be the infamous Montana unveiling this, but we'll certainly be very happy that Iron Bull Argus spent a few minutes with us here. I know he's a very, very busy man. And before I let you go, and before we get to final thoughts, anything else you want to plug or talk about here for tomorrow
Well,
night's show for our
I
audience?
think we were I think we were forgetting at least a couple names that had not been announced that are going to be on the show. We are having a debut of Joey Sins, which will
Yes.
be coming to EBW Pro. Heard good things about him. I don't know much about him, but he's ready and pumped up.
Well, it's another reason why you got
The
to show
rock
up to
star.
27 Jersey Avenue tomorrow night. Yep.
And I would call him another really great talent is Rob Atkins, who is also
Yes.
a 3WA superstar. And he's got that amateur style background wrestling. I think anyone that gets in the ring with Rob Atkins is definitely going to have their work cut out for them because he is one fast paced machine. And he's just got that amateur style wrestling background. He's a hell of a phenomenal athlete. I think he's another up and coming star. He is definitely hungry and looking for gold. And I'm sure tomorrow night he will show up and impress everybody just like he always does.
You know what? That's the old expression for that is that somebody that's going to be in the ring with him tomorrow night, you're going to be stretched. That's the
Oh yeah, I mean,
example.
I watch his matches and he's so fast. I'm thinking, hey, you better be ready because Rob Atkins does not slow down for anybody.
No, that's definitely somebody that I wouldn't want to follow him. I'm definitely not following him off the card. Yeah, just some amazing names and names we always talk about here. And I have no doubt that we'll be talking about the fallout from some of this after tomorrow night, because I would imagine the infamous Montana will be back here on Sportswire. And again, EBW Pro, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Go out there. Again, main event, Tang Talon, JCM, EBW Breakout Championship, also EBW IR Champion. Infamous Montana will be in action. The tag team champions will be in the house. Ego against Joey Angelo, Jacob Cassidy, Jackson Sabre. What a match that's going to be. King Kalu is in the house. We talked about Mozart Fontaine. We know that the legendary Autumn Breeze and Slam and Sammy are tagging. We don't know who they're tagging against. Angel Santiago, the TF Crew YouTube champions in the house, making his debut. I mean, there's just so much to look forward to. That is why you got to be there coming up at 827 Jersey Avenue, Pine Grove Civic Association there in Gloucester, New Jersey, Gloucester, it doesn't matter. Hit the poster, whatever it is. And we love Jersey, although it feels like for me, Iron Bull, it's like the other part of the world being here in the Big Apple. But we love especially our wrestling companies holding it down for us. And I know you're a busy man, so I want to pass the baton to you. Let's certainly do this again. I know this was not the way we expected you to be here, but let's definitely talk maybe next show and maybe get you back on here and talk a little more about what happened here after tomorrow night. And anything else you want to plug, share, or say, take it away, my friend.
Yes, definitely. I would love to be back on the show and definitely in full form. Obviously, once all this is done and over with, tomorrow will be such a great event. We'll definitely have to review everything and give the results to everyone, and we'll see how it all goes down. But I do look forward to being back here on Sportswire Radio once again, and soon enough in the near future, and it won't be too long from now.
Yeah.
And I hope that, yes, everybody will come out and support EBW Pro and check out the channel as always and subscribe and watch the videos on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, we're everywhere. Basically, to get the name out there and really get the following so people can see that, we've been around for almost 3 years by the end of this year that EBW Pro will be active.
Funny, time flies. I remember when 2 years ago, you guys were just getting the, I think I first heard Wind of You 2 years ago, just about 2 years ago when Mr. Havoc came on the Sportswire for the first time. Yeah, just about, we're going into July. So yeah, it would be about, I think July or August 23. And I heard about you guys right afterwards. And now we're going into year 3, and time flies when you're having fun, and time flies when you're having some of the very best wrestlers in your company. EBW Pro's got them. Roadblock's our world champion. Our breakout champion is JCM. Our IR champion is certainly the one and only infamous Montana was supposed to be our tag team champions. The Eastside Goonies have been killing it. And just everybody out there in EBW Pro has been killing it. You need to hit the sub button for them on YouTube, Instagram, hit that follow button. And also, it is EBW Pro Day here one more time on Sportswire Radio. And my friend, definitely don't be a stranger. We'll definitely talk off the air on the next time to get you back on here. Definitely we'll do it again next month. We'll get some fallout from what happened tomorrow night at Gold Horizon. And I do completely agree that there is plenty of gold on the horizon. And the fans are going to certainly be getting plenty of gold in some of the very best wrestlers out there in the independent wrestling and pretty much anywhere in the wrestling verse. We're going to put on a heck of a show tomorrow night. And first day of summer is definitely swinging into full effect because EBW Pro is about to put a Gold Horizon on for the fans and some. So thank you, my friend, for all you've done for our sport. Thank you for everybody for what EBW Pro has done for our sport. And can't wait to talk about the show and have you back on here in a few weeks.
Thank you very much, Tom. And it's great to definitely be here. And look forward to talking to you again. And everyone, yes, it's been definitely a great experience. And we will find infamous Montana. One way or another.
I hope, because I did a video for him, Iron Bull, and I was like, well, if I don't get to the Sportswire Radio studios, he's going to turn me into one of those people Tony Montana used to kill in Scarface. But yet, that wasn't the reason why that infamous Montana didn't show up, because I was like, hey, I'm getting ready to do my video. I did my video. I came out of the Sportswire Radio compound, and everything seemed great. And the people were asking, where is he? And then, well, you showed up, but listen, we had fun, and sometimes it happens when you're live. I do a show covering news every week, and you just never know what's going to happen. But we certainly did a great job, and you did a great job, and can't wait to see you back here in a few weeks. And I know that hopefully the infamous Montana will be found so we can show up and maybe defend that IR championship. And thank you so much, and we had some fun, and I'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon. Thank you, Tom, and have a good night, everybody out there.
Yes.
And tomorrow night,
yes, have a great night, and we will be on tomorrow night on Sportswire Radio, and hopefully you'll be here, and I'm sure our guest will be here as well. And we are here with the one and only legendary Iron Bull Arcus. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voice figuratively and literally where all music and wrestling matters. If you're here on Sportswire Radio, you're going back to your regular scheduled program on the internet radio. And I'll be here at some point tomorrow night. And Sunday, we're here with Godric Sandwell and to get bundles. I got a double header on Sunday. So hopefully the heat doesn't overwhelm me, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. But until then, thank you so much. Yes, Zilla, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for who was here. And infamous Montana, I hope that you didn't turn into one of Tony Montana's victims, like I said in my video. But we'll see you soon. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station that is Sports by Radio, where all music and wrestling matters. Go follow EBW Pro. Go out there and watch the show. Let us what you thought about it. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great night.